Hi, I'm Tom, and I'm here to help you teachers understand the assembly sequence for setting up your 10-gallon aquarium using the Airlift Undergravel filter system. I'm going to show you how each one of these connects together and gets installed into the tank, and we'll go through the whole setup sequence. So the first thing we're going to start with is this plate filter that actually goes on the bottom of the tank. And I've already got one on the left side. There's a small clip. There's 3 of these. Some may or may not have these, but these get installed on the bottom of the filter at the bottom of the tank. And I'm going to go then and snap this into there. First thing I'm going to do though is this riser tube, which is adjustable, gets inserted into a recess. It's a bayonet mount. So you insert it into a keyway and then turn it 90 degrees. And then that gets placed in the back left-hand corner of the tank. And then those tangs engage in the center. So that's pretty much set right there. So there's a number of parts to this riser tube. There's a stone filter. Okay, this is an air bubbler. There's an air tube. There's also a cap for that. You can actually insert this bubbler tube into, there's a small hole in the top. That gets dropped down into the riser tube. And then there's a cartridge filter with activated charcoal, and that goes into the top of your riser tube assembly. Okay. The other side I just left without this cartridge, so I'm going to go ahead and insert that. Okay. And what this does is the air bubbles up, and it actually causes the water to lift up and flow through this activated carbon. So it's like it's an active filter, but it works pretty well using this this air bubbler. Okay, it's just a small air pump. So that goes into, this is a series of small 1/4-inch hoses. The air pump has a small hole in it, and that gets inserted here. And I'm just going to set this on the side of the tank with the air hose coming out. The other side, coming off this T, I'm going to insert into this riser tube. I'm not sure if you can see it, but I'll raise that up. And that gets inserted right like that. And then drop back down again. Okay. Oops, let's make sure that's on there. And that could happen to you if it's not on tight enough. Sometimes a little water will help this slip on, because right now everything is dry. Okay, there we go. That looks like it works just fine. And there's also some small cutouts in the tank, so that air hose can go sit inside that cutout so that when you put your lid on, everything's sealed up. Once all of your riser tubes are in and your filter tubes are in, or filter plates are in, we're going to go ahead and add the gravel. Now there's instructions on how to clean your gravel. This is not cleaned as it is, so you're going to go ahead and either boil this in water or add some bleach to some water and get that in there. Let the rocks kind of just get them cleaned up. Pour those into the top of the filter plates, and I love using these just river rocks. You can find these at any landscape supply store. They'll probably give them to you if you tell them you're a teacher with this program. And those will get added on top of the gravel, and they're a great place for your fry to hide out. It's great. The kids can play hide and seek because the fry will hide. They like dark places, they like protection, and this somewhat helps to mimic the natural environment. So once those get added in, we'll go ahead and add our water. So bottled water or non-chlorinated water. You'll need 10 gallons plus an extra 1 or 2 to fill into the tank. I usually let that settle for a few days to let it temperature stabilize, let the filters get going, make sure everything works. Here's your thermometer, which you can drop in there. Temperature is somewhat critical. You want it in the 55-degree range, plus or minus a few degrees. It can go all the way down into high 40s or the mid to, obviously the high 50s is getting a little bit warm, but 55 is optimal. Okay. In the most likely chance that you have an egg dye or a fry dye, we do have a turkey baster, and that's used to go in and suck up any dead matter that's in there. You can compost it or dispose of it however you want. And then the final day is your happy day, is when you go to harvest the fry. And that's what you have your net for, okay? Scoop those up. I prefer a net that's about 10 times bigger than this because it's way easier to catch those fast little fish, but this will work just fine. And then we have a chiller that gets added. I'm going to save this for last on this particular airlift system, just because it's kind of in the middle of everything. But that has a power cord. There's only one way to plug this in. So there's a small barb on this and a small lock on there, and you can just snap those together. They won't come apart if you pull them. Okay, if you get it on there wrong, you can easily pull it apart. Okay, so this has a plug. Your air pump has a plug. What you're going to want to do is get a power strip and plug these into it, and then make sure that's on 24/7. Okay, and we have a couple other things to add. And most importantly are the insulation covers. Okay, you're going to keep this on when you're not viewing the fish on the front, and the one on the top on most of the time, with the exception of when you feed them. Okay, this is a little bit unstable with the air tubes coming out. So what I'll do is get a couple extra river rocks, place them on the top, and that'll just ensure that you've got a nice solid seal on the top. And you'll keep the temperature constant and give the fish a nice, consistent environment. So that's pretty much it. Enjoy the program. It's a lot of fun, and pray for rain. Bye-bye.